Help me, please, my child. Help me. Why are you doing this to me? My son, please stop.
Money. Yes. I need more money. Yes, more money.
Our elders warned us about stories like this. In many African villages, there are rules passed down through generations. Rules meant to protect, not to frighten. This is one of those stories. Never take anything that belongs to your mother and use it for something unclean. Because a mother is not just a woman. She is a covering. She is a shield. And when you break that bond, you don't just invite wealth. You invite something else. Something that does not live. This is the story of a boy who wanted money and paid with something far greater. If you value the stories our elders warned us about, remember to subscribe. In a quiet village surrounded by thick forest and red earth roads lived a young man named CHINEDU. CHINEDU was not born poor, but he lived poor. Every morning he woke up to the same leaking roof, the same worn-out slippers, the same hunger that sat quietly in his stomach like an unwanted guest. His mother, Mama Ngozi, was a widow. She sold vegetables in the market. Every day under the hot sun, she would sit for hours just to make enough money to feed them. CHINEDU hated it. Not his mother. Never his mother. He hated the life. He hated watching other boys his age return from the city during festive seasons with shiny clothes, expensive phones, confidence. They spoke differently, walked differently, lived differently, and every time they passed him, he felt smaller. One evening, his childhood friend Emeka returned from the city. But this time, something was different. Emeka was not just comfortable, he was rich. Gold chain, designer clothes, money that he spent without counting. CHINEDU could not understand it. Emeka, what do you do? He asked. Emeka smiled. Business, he said, but his eyes said something else. That night, CHINEDU could not sleep. The thought kept echoing in his mind. There is a way out. Days later, Emeka pulled him aside. There are things in this life, he said quietly, that school will never teach you. CHINEDU listened. There are doors that money alone cannot open, but there are sacrifices that can. CHINEDU's heart began to race. What kind of sacrifice, he asked. Emeka hesitated. Then he said something that would change everything. Something personal. That same week, CHINEDU's mother called him one evening. Come and sit, she said. Her voice was calm but serious. I had a dream, she told him. In that dream, I saw you walking into darkness, carrying something that belongs to me. CHINEDU laughed nervously. It's just a dream, Mama. But she grabbed his hand. Listen to me, she said firmly. Not everything that shines is blessing. Some things shine because they are calling you to destruction. He pulled his hand away. I'm not a child anymore, he said, and walked out. The pressure grew. Hunger, shame, comparison, desperation. Finally, CHINEDU went back to Emeka. I'm ready, he said. Emeka looked at him for a long time. Once you start, you cannot stop. I don't care, CHINEDU replied. I just want to make money. They traveled that night, deep into a place CHINEDU had never seen before. An old compound, quiet, too quiet. Inside, an elderly man sat waiting. His eyes were sharp, like he could see through skin. You want wealth? The man asked. Yes, CHINEDU replied. There is a price. CHINEDU nodded. The man leaned forward. You must bring something that carries your mother's essence. CHINEDU froze. What do you mean? A strand of her hair, the man said. Silence. For the first time, doubt entered CHINEDU's heart. His mother's face flashed in his mind. Her sacrifices, her love, her warnings. But then, he remembered the hunger, the shame, the life he wanted. And slowly, he nodded. That night, his mother slept peacefully. CHINEDU stood beside her bed. His hands trembled. Just a small strand, he whispered to himself. She will never know. Carefully, quietly, he cut a piece of her hair. As he turned to leave, his mother shifted slightly in her sleep and whispered his name. CHINEDU. He froze, but she did not wake. He returned to the old man. The ritual began. Chants filled the air. Smoke curled into strange shapes. The hair was placed in a small pot, mixed with things CHINEDU could not identify. Then the man looked at him. From today, your life will change. But remember, nothing comes for free. At first, it worked. Money began to flow. Unexpected opportunities, strangers helping him, business deals succeeding. Within months, CHINEDU became everything he once envied. Rich, respected, admired, but something else came with it. His mother fell sick. At first it was small, fatigue, headaches, then it became worse. She grew weaker each day. Medicine could not explain it. Medicine did not work. And every night, CHINEDU began to hear something, a whisper, calling his name. He returned to the old man. My mother is dying, he said. The man looked at him calmly. Of course she is. CHINEDU's heart dropped. What do you mean? You brought her essence, he said, and used it. You tied your wealth to her life. Silence. Stop it, CHINEDU shouted. Reverse it. The old man shook his head. You cannot eat from the pot and then return it full. Every wealth has a source, and yours is your mother. CHINEDU rushed home. His mother lay weak, barely breathing. She looked at him with tired eyes. I told you, she whispered. Tears streamed down his face. I'm sorry, Mama, but sorry was too late. She died, and that same moment, the money stopped. Everything collapsed. Business failed. Friends disappeared, and the whispers became louder. CHINEDU lost everything, but the worst part was not the poverty, it was the guilt. Because he knew the truth, he did not just lose his mother, he traded her. There are doors in this life that should never be opened. There are sacrifices that should never be made, and there is one person you should never use as a stepping stone, your mother. Because the moment you turn her love into a tool, you stop being protected. And when protection leaves, anything can enter. Some wealth is not a blessing, it is a debt, and one day it must be paid. If you value the stories our elders warned us about, subscribe and help keep these traditions alive. And tell us in the comments, what warning did your elders give you as a child? Remember, some stories are not meant to scare you, but to protect you. These are the stories our elders warned us about.